Ayo, back at you with another video. We are looking at Renaldo Gouws, and the video is called President Trump Calls Out South Africa and Its Policies. Breaking news, President Trump calls out South Africa and its policies. The Fafos are forever trying to scare us, but hope you watched the previous video titled The Fafos Tried to Scare Us, Trump Capitulated. You need to know what is actually happening about Trump from the real world instead of constantly tuning into Renaldo alone. But let's just see the narrow propaganda that he's pushing today.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So this video is going to focus on Donald Trump laying out the truth for everybody to see on his Truth Social platform and also on X. And the problem is that mainstream media is not reporting on what Donald Trump has said because it goes against what they have been saying.
You, YouTube media, have not been reporting on what Trump is doing and the flip-flopping with regards to the US economy and the stock market and his tariffs. Have you mentioned tariffs at all recently?
Saying and the narrative that they've been driving for the last 2 months. Because according to mainstream media in South Africa, the reason that the United States is acting the way they are against South Africa is because of AfriForum, Solidariteit, alternative media, Ernst Roots, Kali Kriel, myself. This is the narrative that mainstream media is driving. But when you look at what Donald Trump is saying and the video that he posted with his Truth Social post, you will clearly see that mainstream media has been blatantly lying to South Africa.
Lying Truth Social. There's this demonic twisting of words. The Bible says that woe to those who call good evil and evil good. A warning to those who do that. People who are liars tend to be the first one to point out in the other direction to say those ones there are liars. And the liars like having titles of truth social while you're a liar, pointing out at other people saying they are lying. Ladies and gents, it's wizardry of the mind. It's hypnosis. It's psychological warfare. Liars. Truth. On my platform, Truth Social.
And to the rest of the world, because here you can clearly see that Donald Trump knows what he's talking about and he backs it up with video evidence of leaders, specifically political leaders in South Africa, making these claims. Let's have a look. So as you can see here, Donald Trump says, how could we be expected to go to South Africa for the very important G20 meeting when land confiscation and genocide is the primary topic of conversation? Now, before some people lose their minds and say there is no white genocide, there is no land confiscation, read carefully. Land confiscation and genocide is the primary topic of conversation. They are taking the land of white farmers and then killing them and their families. There has been farm murders. White people have been brutally murdered on their farms. Land grabs is something that is massive in South Africa right now. You just need to look at the recent case of what has happened in East London, where politicians are going to already stick a little flag in the ground to say this is going to be their land. All of the evidence is right there. The media refuses to report on this. Factual. The United States has held back all contributions to South Africa. Is this where we want to be for the G20? I don't think so. So that's a very bold statement from Donald Trump. And of course, mainstream media, if they decide to report on this, will focus on what is being said, specifically about genocide and land confiscation, but they won't play this video. They won't put it in context. And let's have a look at why Donald Trump is saying what he is saying.
We're about to watch the EFF. You all know there's hostility. You all know there's money to be made. There's competition for people's attention and their eyes. And so the world is moving. The world is shifting. There are alliances changing. There are people of a certain idea versus people of another idea. The meeting of tectonic plates rubbing up against one another. The EFF provoking and Trump lying. So let's understand here that the EFF knows the current time and current moment. They have their agenda. Trump has his agenda. And so we are tweeting one another now.
There's nothing you can do. There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. Yes. South African occupy land. That's who we are.
So this is out of the horse's mouth. I mean, this is out of Julius Malema's mouth, right? So how can Donald Trump be ill-informed when a member of parliament is making it very clear what their intentions are with land occupation? Can the mainstream media please explain this?
How can we withdraw my membership from this useless parliament?
Honorable. Yes, Honorable.
Julius has been saying this for years. In fact, the land issue was hotter some time back. Renaldo is highlighting these issues like there's now something actually moving, actually happening. It's all opposition to the signing of the expropriation bill. It's alarm bells ringing. Whatever little fire you can find, throw fuel on it, take a picture and show it to the Americans. Say that there's a huge fire now going on. The land issue is actually settling. Whether there will be land being taken by force and all of these erratic occupations, we know now that it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. People will not rise by themselves and just do that. They normally have a community leader. There's intelligence that looks at people. When people start squatting, they are seen. There won't suddenly be a mobilization of people seeking to go occupy land. People of which township are going to head out to the field to go build shacks and that kind of occupation. This is agitation. This is a commitment to playing with Trump in this chess game that he has decided to play with us. And so far, really, nothing is happening. If Trump really has evidence of what he's saying, let him put 145% tariff on South Africa. I want to see something. I really want to see something. Why was the tariff against us pulled back? Is Trump also playing around? Is he just playing around, acting tough, old man aggressive, you know? Does he think that from our position, from our vantage point, we are seeing Clint Eastwood, sucker, a big, tough white guy? We're not seeing any of that, man.
Honorable member.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act.
This is the stuff that just did not go well with me, you see. This stuff just did not go well with me. You've heard me speak about Satanists and voodoo and things that require spillage of blood. I may be listening to you politically making a speech, and then when you start speaking about the spillage of blood, I know that there are spirits within political parties. I've seen that political parties, black ones, especially Pan-Africanist ones, really go to the extent of making sangomas and African spiritualists the leaders of certain positions. And so when you start to see somebody who participates in blood rituals dressed in political regalia, and you hear the leader of the party talk about killing so hard with such intensity, I said, whoa, no, I ain't about this no more. Hey, some quick shameless self-promotion over here. If you love and enjoy this channel and you also happen to love dope gadgets, you can support my new baby, my new startup, my new retail venture, Gadget Plug. In case you've only ever known me as a YouTuber, you'll be glad to know that I'm also a wedding and documentary film producer, pro video editor, and all-round entrepreneur with a love for high-end gadgets like cinema cameras, gaming consoles, powerful GPUs, computers, and mobile phones. And my electronics store Gadget Plug is your new go-to place for the latest and greatest in tech. We're talking real gadgets, real quality, real quick, at the best prices in all of South Africa. To know more about this, head on over to my website imneo.co.za and check out my e-commerce store today. As we officially kick off business, Gadget Plug has stock right now of iPhone 16 Pro Max in 256 and 512 gig at 25,000 and 28,000 respectively. Simply press the green button at the bottom of my website if you want to inquire, and one of my friendly customer service agents will attend to you. Thank you very much for your support. And now back to the video.
You see, so once again, listen. When somebody tells you who they are, believe them. And I want to see how mainstream the reason they're so quiet is because they don't have a counter for what has been posted here. Because, you know, for so many years, the media has defended and protected Julius Malema. And here he is clearly saying, you know, we are going to take the land. A revolution asked for violence. And of course, yeah, he's going to sing Kill the Boer. Now, please explain to me how Donald Trump needs to be blamed for listening to what members of parliament in South Africa are saying about the state of South Africa.
Stop playing tension, man. Let Trump be convinced already and let him take action. We want to see something.
To kill Yamaza.
Aye.
Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa. To kill.
That was on Human Rights Day, by the way.
Yamaza.
This was another day.
Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer.
The mayor of DA in PE is a white man.
It's talking about Ethel Trollop here.
So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashaba and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched, don't worry. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Shoot.
Yeah, there we go.
Kill Yamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa. Shoot to kill Yamaza. Kill the poor.
I mean, do you understand why the United States and the rest of the world has this perception of South Africa? Because members of parliament keep telling the rest of the world who and what we are. And then mainstream media comes to the defense of these individuals and make it seem like, oh, Donald Trump and the rest of the world is crazy because right now there is no confiscation of land and right now there is no genocide taking place. But what they keep on missing is the fact that Julius Malema and various other senior politicians are telling us what their intentions are, and mainstream media acts like that's not what's happening. It's just a struggle song. It's just Julius Malema. Like, it's absurd.
The farmer. Kill the poor. The farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, we've not called for the killing of white people. At least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocidal call.
Cry babies.
Even Jacob Zuma. We're going to shoot. Nice. They are going to run.
We will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refuge in America.
Nice. Recent statement. So, ladies and gentlemen, when mainstream media comes out and tells you, oh, the United States is ill-informed and Donald Trump doesn't know what he's talking about, there's no genocide in South Africa, there's no land confiscation, then just understand that, well, it's because they are relying on what politicians are telling them they are planning on doing in South Africa. You've got Julius Malema that sings Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer. You've got the ANC that is furthering the Expropriation Act, the Bella Act, the NHI Act. All of these things eventually add up, and the rest of the world is looking at this and going, something's not right. Now remember, we as South Africans are already hardened to songs like Kill the Boer. We've been hearing it for 15 years. We've been hearing that he's not calling for the slaughtering of white people, at least for now. We've heard these terrible things about white people for so many years that we don't take it seriously anymore. But for any rational person outside of South Africa, when they hear that and when they realize it comes from politicians that are currently in parliament, they take it seriously. And do you know why? Because usually what happens is when senior politicians make claims like this, eventually it ends up happening. But mainstream media in South Africa are too dumb, too ignorant, or too bought to honestly report about what will eventually happen in South Africa. So here we have Donald Trump on his own accord.
And by the way, the EFF is marching to Orania, so the provocation is real. This is ramping up. If you blink, if you skip and not watch these videos, you will be missing out.
Posting whether or not they should come to the G20, and clearly they're not interested in coming because of these type of things. And it just shows how political parties in South Africa and mainstream media in South Africa have failed South Africa in protecting us, in speaking out against these terrible things that are being said by top politicians, senior politicians in South Africa. So I really hope that for once South African media can report accurately on what is being said and just see the common sense in it all. How many times must Julius Malema sing Kill the Boer before you go, maybe there's something more to it than it just being a struggle song?
You know, every time Trump screws up and he's looking like an embarrassment, Renaldo comes here and pulls out clips of Julius Malema. What tactics are these? Do people realize what distractions are? Hey, don't look here, look over there. The US is experiencing a planned demolition at the current moment. They've been living on too much debt. It wasn't productivity growth. They are not hard-working people. They had money to bet with, and that money was cheap to borrow. And so things are flipping. For us to be listening to this stuff and not watching and taking lessons about what happens to the state of a person's life and the state of a country when it gets into too much debt, and for us to think about our own debt as well, to think about the road ahead, what is going to happen. This is distortion. This is distraction.
When politicians are saying, we are going to take the land, believe them. Stop defending them. Stop acting like it's everybody else that's going crazy, but the politicians are legit and they don't actually mean what they say. That is why South Africa is in the state it's in. It's because media has allowed these politicians to get away with it. And the court system is just as to blame for this. Where the Constitutional Court of South Africa, that is supposed to uphold the Constitution, you know, freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of association, like your dignity to not be tainted or attacked. All of these things, like, how can the Constitutional Court look at a song like Kill the Boer and go, hey, in a constitutional democracy, that's fine. You know, it's 100% acceptable to sing a song about killing people. In a country that has got the crime rate that we do, 80 murders a day, a violent sexual crime taking place every few seconds in this country. And then our Constitutional Court goes, no, it's not worth discussing. It's just a song. That is why the rest of the world is looking at South Africa and going, you guys, there's something seriously wrong there. And I'm happy.
The whole world is not actually looking at us like that. That's the impression Renaldo would like to give to us. And he would like to give to the world the impression that we are worth looking at. Ladies and gentlemen, look at what is happening in Gaza. Look at the images. Look at the tension between Israel and the Palestinian people there. Call for peace. Pray for peace, petition, and ask for the power of God to demonstrate to us a solution in that situation, because it will happen. That situation will not happen forever. The battery on the computer is about to die. Let's finish this video.
That at least the rest of the world and their media are reporting accurately on what is happening in South Africa and what ultimately will happen in South Africa if nothing is being done about what is being said right now by these politicians. So thank you once again to the presidents of other nations and mainstream media outlets of other nations that are reporting on what's happening in South Africa, because our media in South Africa is completely bought, and if you have a center right or a right-leaning opinion, then you are the devil, not the person singing songs about killing you because of the color of your skin. No, they're an angel. They need to be protected. It's everybody else that's overreacting. You know, the citizens of this country that are saying, can we maybe not sing a song about killing people? Can we maybe not threaten private property rights? You know, because the country's going to suffer. These individuals are treated like lepers. But politicians like Julius Malema that sing songs about killing people, completely fine. They are the heroes of this struggle in 2025. You know, this white monopoly capital that so many of these politicians are using again. I mean, did we not already debunk the whole notion of white monopoly capital, that it was a well-orchestrated and funded initiative by Bell Pottinger?
Aye, Suga. Dr. Palile Hohla demonstrated white monopoly capital on the interview with Iman Rapeti, where he showed the prevalence of retail stores and the white monopoly capital. He said that is the problem.
The key problem is concentration by monopoly capital. That's where it is. But Harvard wants to sketch that issue and blame it on the small size of the informal sector. There's no way you can grow an informal sector when you have concentration.
Did you hear that? Let's keep going then.
Where they were paid to come up with slogans to strengthen Jacob Zuma's appeal in South Africa, to create a villain. All of these things were already exposed. Bell Pottinger shut down. They closed down because of this. The creation of the term white monopoly capital. And everybody's acting like they don't know that the slogan was created by a lily white firm in the UK. And that eventually has gone bankrupt because of taking the money of these individuals that wanted to create this slogan.
That you can strike the slogan. Those may be facts. But is there white capitalism that is monopolistic in South Africa, that fights for every little corner of the economy?
Concentration of industrialization is in the hands of the few. And it increasingly becomes that way. And anybody that tries to rise is killed. Oh! Remember the story of Pepsi and Coca-Cola in 1993 or was it 1994? Where Coca-Cola actually deprived Pepsi the bottles. Oh! And it couldn't bottle its Coke. And we call that free competition in the context of Milton Friedman, that we are all after profit. So capital always seeks ways of undermining competition at all times. It's not pro-competition, it wants to undermine it. And here in South Africa, it has been white and has been concentrated.
Anyway, it's just absolutely absurd. But once again, like I said, thank you to the international community and the international media for talking about what our media and our politicians in this country do not want to talk about.
Was that Trump's media or was that international media? Yo, Renaldo is twisty. I'll see you next time. Let's leave it over here. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me hear what you have to say, and I will see you in the next one.